Hey everyone, this is Markayla from Counteract Ministries here to give a word coming out of Second Corinthians in chapter 12. It starts off by talking about a man. Paul is speaking. He talks about a man who ascended into heaven and was able to hear an exclusive conversation between God, and there was some sacred information that no one was supposed to know. And then he goes on to say in verse 5, he says, "Now I will boast about a man like that, but I will not boast about myself, except about my weaknesses. Even if I should not choose to boast, I would not be a fool, because I would be speaking the truth. But I refrain, so no one will think more of me than is warranted by what I do or say, or because of these surpassingly great revelations. Therefore, in order to keep me from becoming conceited, I was given a thorn in my flesh, a messenger of Satan to torment me. 3 times I pleaded with the Lord to take it away from me, but he said to me, 'My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in your weaknesses.' Therefore I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me. That's why, for Christ's sake, I delight in weaknesses, in insults, in hardships, in persecutions, and difficulties. For when I am weak, then I am strong." I wanted to give a message today about weaknesses and what they can mean to us. A lot of times we think our weaknesses are inhibitors, but really our weaknesses can be blessings because God can work through them, and through them God can get the glory. Because sometimes other people can see our weaknesses, and to see people still excel through their weaknesses even though they have it, people and they hear you praise the Lord, people will think there's something to this God she serves, because there's no way she could prevail through what she got through, and she has this thorn in her side. And it was so interesting too, when I was reading this, it called the thorn in the side, Paul called this a messenger of Satan. Now, if it's something that God works through, you would think it's something that he is given, but it's something, a lot of times the thorns in our side, they are meant to be tormentors. They are meant to be inhibitors, and they can be if we allow them to be. They are things that sometimes Satan has been allowed to put upon us. But see, God is smarter than Satan. God knows that regardless of what is put upon us, that God can still work through it and get the glory. And Satan is just like, how is this possible? It reminds me so much of going into the story of the book of Exodus and the story of Moses. Moses had all these inhibitors that he thought was going to stop him from doing what God is calling him to do. He was like, I can't go into Egypt and free these people. I don't speak well. I don't. These people won't believe me, and all kinds of other excuses. And God was like, I'm calling you to go. It doesn't matter what you talk about. I don't care what kind of inhibitors you think you have or what you think is going to stop you. I'm calling you to go. So I say all that to say that regardless of what you've got going on with you, whatever weaknesses you think you have, God can still work through them. There's still great things that can come from you. So don't stop. Don't inhibit the work that God can do through you because of fear or anything else going on inside of you because of the hardship you perceive that you have. You can overcome anything with Christ.